Here to talk about my own experiences about the teachings of David Icke. Uh, I'm wearing glasses because I do not want to be recognized. I am Portuguese. I only tell this because my IP is Portuguese, so I can't hide it. My speech will be slow because all that I have is in my mind. Well, for the matter, to start, I have the third level of Reiki, and I have the basic level of Silva mind control and some workshops. I also have the basic level of the astral projection course of International Academy of Consciousness from Brazil, and several workshops of it. But for the matter, I am a friend of one of the biggest mediums of the world. He is one of the best mediums here at Portugal, and sometimes I go with him around the world. There is one law in this world, a natural law, is that real intelligence must always remain anonymous. The real wiseness, the real intelligence does not go to television. It's always underground. Not under the ground, but low level. Well, why am I telling you this and putting this on YouTube? First of all, my English isn't. I'm Portuguese. English is not my native language. All right. We are at August 2013, and things are rough financially, and many guys say that war might be coming to Europe and to Portugal. So I'm concerned. I do not want to go to war. So, because I'm a friend of one of the most important mediums in the world, I know how to have knowledge that most of the people don't have. Well, I used that knowledge to ask for the evidence of war. I was told that if things go bad as they are going now, it's very possible that war is coming to Europe and Portugal also. All right. So I asked, and I got the answer that probably war is coming to Portugal. Then I asked, where can I hide? How can I run from the war? So I had that answer. But in that answer, came also the fact that after that I downloaded from the internet the books of David Icke, or Icke, I don't know, David Icke. I really, that was not something that I was expecting. I wasn't really expecting at all. I never had heard about David Icke or something like that. I never cared. But I downloaded his books and I read his book, The Biggest Secret. In that book he talks about shapeshifting. Well, this friend of mine, which is medium, whatever, he's old. He's old now. He's 70, 80 years old. And he used to tell me that when his parents were alive and he was very young, that he used to see very strange things. At that time, about 50 years ago, 60 years, there was not electricity in the rural places. There was no electricity, so there was also very strange things. And she used to tell me about people turning to werewolves, people turning to wolves, people turning to cows, people turning to birds, people turning to cats, dogs, or whatever. That's of course I didn't believe it. I never believed in anything. Well, that medium, he incorporates consciousness, spirits, whatever. He incorporates, all right, and a spirit that the person talks with his body, and that spirit is a guide, all right, and he used to tell me about those weird things back when there was no electricity, there was no doctors, there was no knowledge of anything. So that guy, he was human, he was a man about 50 or 100 years ago, I don't know. But when he was alive, there was no electricity. And I went to him to ask for the reptilians or whatever, because he is in a different dimension, all right. I had once read in a book that some people from ancient China or whatever, they used to see when they were meditating, they were leaving the body and they were seeing UFOs. I do still remember that those people that are abducted by UFOs, they are not in fact abducted. They are pulled out from their body. They are put to sleep, and they are out of their body, and they are awakened in another dimension. But because when you are sleeping, you don't notice the difference if you are alive or dead. So they are pushed out of their bodies. Their conscience is pushed out of their bodies, because it can happen, and then the experience is so strong that they awake and they really see things that, like if they were awakened, but they aren't awakened. This explanation, nobody is giving it. I don't know why. Nobody is talking about this. This is a very simple explanation. Well, so I asked this spirit guide, what do you see? You are not human. You are in another dimension. First of all, he said, well, I see everything. I see it all. And he said he sees many things. One thing that he told me is that when he was alive, that there used to be mines. There are mines everywhere. Mines to contraband. Back 50, 60 years ago, there was no jobs, there was no industry here at Portugal. So people had to make contraband at the border, in our border to Spain. And there was mines, there was caverns, and also there are also caverns to guide underground waters. When I was young, I have family in the hills, and those places, those cities, those villages in the hills, and in the northern part of Portugal. And they, because the water is very few water, there is not much water, so they have to. They do not build wells, like they weren't building wells in the ground, big wells, deep wells, but they were building caves and mines and whatever under the ground. So that was how they used to gather water to put to drink, to cook, and to put in the plants and whatever. So that spirit guy told me that when I told them that these reptilians were living underground, he told me that when he was alive, when he was human, that he knew that there was people that there was something living in those mines that were natural mines. I have one natural mine near my place. One or two. I never went there. I really don't care, not for now. And there were many people. There was some kind of people. He said there was someone living in those mines, and those beings were only coming out at night. And I also, and I asked them, wow, how can it be that people used to turn into wolves and to dogs and birds, whatever. And they say, no, they turn into, they are, when it comes to night, sometime at night, they turn into this or they turn into that. Of course, I used to find that stupid, and stupid. That wasn't possible. Now, when I read the David Icke books, and when he talks about shape-shifting, then it changed everything. Suddenly, I started to believe that people could really live underground and turn or shape-shift into animals. And if it wasn't for David Icke, I would never believe people that say or used to say that they saw this, they saw that. But now I must believe. Another thing which I experienced is that I have the third level of Reiki, which I use the Onshase Shone symbol. The Reiki sessions are so expensive because the therapist gets completely defeated physically and energetically after the ending of each session. So a Reiki therapist cannot turn the energy towards a graveyard, not even to hospitals, not even to prisons or places that are negative. Because if you guide the Reiki power towards those negative places, you get sick very, very quickly. You get sick very, very fast. And I had a relative of mine, but I didn't know that. I had a relative of mine that went to hospital, and of course I got worried. And then I started to do Reiki towards that relative of mine when she was in the hospital. But I was doing that at night when I was in bed trying to sleep, alright? Because when you initiate the Reiki power, you also get benefits. You sleep better at night. You get to sleep faster. But when I was doing that, when I was doing Reiki towards that relative of mine in the hospital, I was in bed. The light was shut down, and my eyes were closed. And suddenly, I started to see faces in here, in my mental field. That is how they call them, I don't know how to say it in English, but when we close our eyes, we see sometimes a screen on our mind, and where things appear, all right, where we imagine things happening. And I started to see, while I was doing Reiki to that relative of mine in the hospital, many faces used to appear in my mind. I didn't know why. And suddenly I couldn't sleep. After 2 or 3 nights, very, very strange faces were appearing here. Not at the beginning, it was human faces, because many people die in the hospital, so their spirits remain in the hospital. Perhaps you don't know that, but I do know. Many people that die in the hospital, they stay in the hospital. Reiki is a very powerful force that shakes things. In this dimension, in this human or terrestrial dimension, whatever, you don't see Reiki, but my hands, they get very, very hot. Now, in the other dimensions where spirits are, you see the Reiki power, you see the Reiki energy, all right? And the more you can put out, the more you can send, the more it is visible. So, like Reiki is a powerful energy and a powerful force, all right? It calms down people, but also spirits. It has influence on spirits too. Reiki, yes, it has. And you may not believe it, but it is true. Reiki is much more powerful than most therapists know, because most of them only want money. They don't care what is it, where it came from, where it is going. They only care about money. So they don't know this. And after 2 or 3 sessions that I did towards that relative of mine in the hospital, I started to see very ugly faces. Very ugly faces. And that shocked me a lot, because I saw images of creatures that I had never seen before, and I knew that those creatures, those consciousnesses or whatever, they see my power from Reiki, and they were coming after it. They were coming to see where is it coming from. Because Reiki shakes, vibrates the atoms. And if you are very powerful with Reiki, you can make many things vibrate, and you can shake the things around you, right? The spirits, the people, whatever. You can shake the energy. You can make it vibrate and change. So those spirits unknown to us, to those humans who were coming to me, but they were making very, very sick, so I had to stop it, and I was also very frightened and shocked. So I learned that those faces that I see, I used to see, sometimes I see them in my mind, they are from another dimension creatures that interact, that are vampires. They go to the hospitals to vampirize the patients, the human patients, because hospitals and prisons and graveyards are places of very much negative energy, so they feed on that. They feed on the bad energy, but they also go after the major points of energy. And that is my experience. And also in my dreams, now that I can ask for many informations about the things that we see on YouTube, many informations from another dimensions, from the beyond, that humans don't have direct access, they come to us when we ask them. They come to us in dreams. At least in mine, most of them come in dreams. So in my dreams, when I was asking questions, I was dreaming about vampire beings, creatures. I used to dream about them, but one thing is a dream. It's an image created by your brain, and another thing is something that you never saw, because you will never see a elephant which is gray and blue and yellow. You will never see a gray, blue and yellow elephant, but you can see an elephant with 5 legs, because nature can create an elephant with 5 legs, but nature will never create an elephant gray, yellow and blue or green or whatever. So one thing is that what you don't know, what you never saw. Another thing is that what is impossible to see. It's two different things. One thing is unknown, and the other is the irreal. Right? Unknown and irreal, it's two different things. And what appeared in my mind was unknown. It was not irreal. Was not irreal. All right, it was unknown, but not irreal. Well, going on. About the Queen Elizabeth II. Well, when I read the David Icke books, the book, I only read one and I saw many videos of it. I finished what I had to read and I saw what I had to saw, but then I never cared a lot. I left it all behind, like many people do. Like, all right. But then in the many movies from the Hollywood movies and the television stuff, you know, it started to appear many of the things that David Icke says. But I started to see, but I didn't care. But the more I didn't care, the more I started to see. Until the 23rd of July 2013, on the program The Daily Show with Jon Stewart, I was watching that the video, and then the guy that was presenting the show was John Oliver, one of the network employees, and he's shown in the video some images of the Elizabeth, the Queen of England, which David says that she is a reptilian. And in those videos you can see, I don't know if by accident, I don't know if on purpose, I don't know, but they shown videos, parts of videos, where she was putting her tongue out when she was out of control, when she was too excited or too nervous, because she is old, she can't control herself and so much or so well anymore. When she gets out of control and she knows or she suspects that there isn't any camera filming her, you know, and she gets excited, she starts to in some of when I saw that, and I didn't believe it. I honestly didn't. But when I saw those videos, I kept it. It was a fact. I couldn't deny what David Icke says, that she is a reptilian. And in that show, they agree. They show videos that prove that David Icke is telling the truth. Is telling the truth about that family. And in some other YouTube videos, you notice. I think, like many other people, you know. How can you explain it? Now, David Icke also tells us about some leaders try to instigate people to violence, because by instigating people to violence, you have a reason to control them and also to put them down, to put drugs on them, to put a chip, to do whatever you want. When they control us, they can do whatever they want from us. And if they have a reason to do it, better for them. Now, as after we read, those who have intelligence, we can see Other people, the more they see, the more they get confused. You know that this new Pope, Francis, this new wonderful Pope, wonderful. He went to Brazil in July 2013. When I read a newspaper, there was a sentence that he said, "Hey, you people, get out on the street, get out on the street." When in July 2013, the Brazilian people was on fire. They were rumbling in the streets. They were destroying everything on the streets. They were revolting. And there comes this Pope and tells them, "Hey, go on, fight, 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 fight. Go to the street, revolt yourselves." Why did he say this? Because he wanted for the Brazilians to revolt even more, so that the police had to intervene, or the army had to intervene to put them down, the Brazilians. So, because the Pope is one of that reptilian brotherhood, he is on top of the Queen of England. David Icke says that only the Pope is higher, even higher than the Queen of England. So when the Pope goes to a troubled country, and then he goes there and says, "Hey, do it worse, do it worse, do it worse." Hey, well, what does he want? He wants them controlled, not by peace, but by government. So that idea from the Pope would make easier to accomplish the reptile agenda. All right, now why do reptilians hide underground? Because hiding underground, it's the perfect hideout from the other extraterrestrials, which are violent. You know, because we are the ones, we humans that we live above the ground are the perfect prey. You know, we are the perfect prey because we are at plain sight. That's why the reptilians go underground, because they are protected down there. Now, yesterday I was watching this soap opera from Brazil, and in one episode I was watching, I saw it by accident. It wasn't by accident, but I did see it. In one scene of this soap opera, it appeared the face of one of the extraterrestrials, one of the aliens that that's shown on YouTube. You know, the producers of the soap opera went to YouTube, and they captured a photo from an alien. They enhanced it, and before I even had heard about David Icke, when I was asking for the matters of war, one night I dreamt about that face, and then after some weeks I saw it on a YouTube video, and now I saw it again in a soap opera on TV. That face keeps appearing. And that was weird. Now, there is, in one of the questions that I made, that I can make to those divinities or whatever, that most people do not have access, because I ask, or we humans ask, and we must know how to ask, when to ask, who to ask, you know. You get many answers, but the answers that you get, you know, they don't come all at once. They come few by few, small answers. I got 2 answers at different times, and this is really strange. About the reptilians and about the I had one answer that a voice in my mind, you know, told me that a sentence. That voice told me, warm blood. Warm blood. In Portuguese, it is the sentence is sangue quente. Sangue quente. Warm blood. I heard it in my mind, but what is this? Warm blood. What is? I don't know. So I was expecting more answers, but I had no more answers. I only had that answer: warm blood, warm blood, warm blood. I forgot it. I wrote it in a note somewhere, and I forgot it. Some weeks gone by, and I asked for some other information about this reptilian things and whatever. And in some other night, all again in my mind came the number 23. Portuguese, it is called 23. But 23. What is 23? 23 what? I got no other answer. So I have these 2 answers: warm blood and 23. Now, but I wrote it in some note, whatever, and forgot it. 1 month or 2 passed, all right, and then the warm blood is one thing that we humans have that reptilians do not. Our warm blood, it's a an advantage in this planet, in planet Earth. The hot, our warm blood, you know, is an advantage. So they want it. The reptilians want our warm blood, because we do not have naturally to run to the sun, to the sunlight. We most of the times run away from the sunlight, you know, because we get cancer in our skin. But our blood, our warm blood, is an advantage, a very, very good advantage to us in this planet. Reptiles must run into sunlight. This was a strangely, in those videos in YouTube, you know, I saw many, and I never ever saw one bit of video or revelation talking about our warm blood. I never. Am I right? I don't know. Am I wrong? I don't know. But I did got that answer, that revelation. Our warm blood, it's a very, very, very good advantage in this planet, to us, and I think to every living being, because you see that snakes and reptiles and lizards, you know, they run risks to be killed when they must come to catch some sunlight. So 2 weeks ago I saw one little snake at the side of the road, a highway. She was, I don't know how to say English, but she was in the side of the highway, you know, catching blood, the snake. Because their blood is cold, and it's bad for them, for the reptiles, to have cold blood. So I think they want to, one thing that I think, and I believe, is that they want to know, they want to turn their blood hot, warm, like ours. About the number 23, and to finish this, you know, 23, I didn't know what to think about that number. But in the newspaper I learned about the number 23. 23 is the number that in 2013 is the number of countries that officially said we know about the existence of aliens. 23 is the number of countries which they are, I don't know. The news that I've seen is that 23 is the number of countries that officially revealed that they knew about the existence of aliens, and they put it out. They revealed, we had evidence, and we believe in the existence of alien life. Well, for now, this is all that I have to say. Now, on David Icke's book, The Biggest Secret, he tells us about the World Wide Fund, the WWF, and how it is a scam to destroy animals and plants and whatever. It's a corrupt system. Well, last year, 2012, I went to me and my little nephew. We went to a meeting, this wilderness preservation meeting here in Portugal. We have a national park called Parque Nacional Peneda Gerês. Okay, and there are foreigners that come from Germany to help the park, this wonderful park of ours. But year after year after year, the park it's being destroyed. It's being destroyed. And those people, there is this company called Amo Portugal. All right, it is called it can be translated as I love Portugal. All right, but I have joined two actions, all right, of that company. One was March 2012, and I saw advertisement for that act about seeding some stuff on the wilderness, on that park, because the fires, they destroy everything. So that company, Amo Portugal, they are trying to preserve the park, but it is all a scam. No, so they advertised it on television. Like, well, at the time I had no job. I went there with my little nephew, and it was very strange. After that, we went to see some oak seeds. We had then I started to see that it was a gang. So they advertised the event on television, but they said that it was going to happen, but they didn't ask for anyone. They didn't ask for help. They didn't ask for someone to join them. But I went. When it came the day, I went. When I got there, they thought that me and my nephew, we were one of the gang. So they let me in before, because I was the first one to get there. But they weren't expecting anyone, they weren't expecting me. So they had a lot of material, and many people came. but they weren't we were about 50 people at the end. We were 50 people, and they had a lot of material. So we had to prepare the seeds, you know, and they had a lot of material. But so many people came to help of that gang that they weren't expecting, you know, that at the end of the day the material, the seeds were ready, you know. But 1 hour before we finish, this German guy, this German leader of that gang, because he's German, you know, he started to make problems. He started to create trouble. And the many of those guys, many of those people were from universities, you know, biologists, whatever. They hired 2 or 3 people to do the hard work, you know, but the rest were guys that were helping the universities. It was all a gang. It was never expected to do the whole work, you know. It was a facade. It was just for the show. So when this German leader, this hard guy, this hard German that came from that ancient Germany, you know, his parents lived the World War, the Second World War. So then this guy, 1 year later, I went back there alone, and I've known that he was rich. That German guy was a rich guy. All that preservation thing, it's based on the free will of the people to cooperate, you know, this free cooperation. No one is paid, you know. So, but this guy, this leader, is a rich man. He's German. He had a compensation. His family has, and he himself, he has a compensation for the troubles of war, because he had to fight. He himself had to go to war, or something like that. The thing I knew is that he was rich. He had a compensation of war or something that the Germans give to people, to those people. So this guy, he could very well with his money pay to volunteers, you know, for those people that were. He could provide a good sleep and good place to sleep, you know. But he was making us garbage. He was treating us like shit, you know. And me and my nephew, we didn't have a good experience there. We promised ourselves to never return. But that guy, the German leader, is all over there. He's controlling everything. That preservation thing, it's all controlled by him. And by this gang called Amo Portugal, I love Portugal. So one hour after we finish the preparing of the seeds, you know, this German, starts to get trouble, because it was he wasn't expecting almost anyone. It was all a facade, you know. But people came. It was the purpose is to show something being done, you know, something being done, but nothing happening at all. Because that park, you know, it's to destroy. They want to destroy the park, you know. And many people complain on Facebook, you know. They complain, oh, what is this? But slowly, you know, the park is being destroyed. So they weren't expecting me and my nephew. They weren't expecting many of their gang. You know, the biologists. You know, the nature. Those people that study nature or whatever. That is all bullshit. I saw it with my own eyes because I was there among them. And then many people came, but I thought they weren't. They were only volunteers, but they weren't volunteers. They were not volunteers. This company, Amo Portugal, I love Portugal. They do not accept volunteers. They ask them, but they do not accept. They let them in. You know, they let them in, but then they kick them out as hard as they can, because it's all a facade, you know. Later I will explain it better. Then the other day, so we prepared the seeds, and our night was hell. Trouble started. My nephew started to cry. He's young, you know. So he started to cry. I started to get problems, to war myself. And at that night, at the middle of the event, you know, I almost had to come home. And but the night went very bad. Next day, it was hell for me. This guy, if I do give details, I'm being honest. If I do give details, I will be recognized because they have my contact. You know, they know who I am. But for me, and for some other people that weren't a part of the gang, because 98% of those people were a part of that gang. But some came along also. Hey, let's have a good time. Let's, you know. And those people. Their cars were having trouble, you know. People were losing themselves. Myself, I got hell that day, and in the end, because many bad things that happened to me, you know. I cannot give you more details, but it was bad because I do not want to be recognized, you know. I am exposing bad stuff. I went there and I have evidence. I have photos and videos. You know, I can point names. Now, at the end of the day, you know, this Parque Nacional Peneda Gerês, it is known worldwide. So it divides itself in 4 parts, 4 hills, 4 major hills, you know, 4 mountains, whatever. The best one is the very It's called Serra do Gerês, alright, Gerês. But Gerês is quite preserved, alright. Then there is this another hill, mountain, whatever. It's called Serra Amarela. Translated to English, it is called Yellow Hill. Alright, it is yellow because it's only rocks and yellow dirt. The landscape is yellow because of the rocks, and it doesn't have many trees at all. So the event was about to seed oak seeds in that land, that arid land, you know. Serra Amarela doesn't have trees. It has burned everything there, you know. But that didn't happen. The oaks were planted, you know, on Serra do Gerês, on that hill, you know, that part of the land that is the best part. We didn't go to seed the bad land. We went to seed the good land again. Do you understand? The event was about to seed the bad land. But the next day, after we prepared the seeds, we went to seed the good lands. So the bad land, you know, the bad land continued to be bad. We didn't go to seed in the bad land. We went to seed in the good, in the land that had green stuff, was covered in green. You know, do you see the difference? We were called, it was advertised to seed, to recover the naked land, you know. But it was never the purpose. The purpose was to introduce on the green land, on the good land, other plants to destroy the native ones. We were seeding oaks, you know, in a place that there is already thousands of oaks. So it was a scam. It was a scam. I don't know what for, but it was a scam. Now, so the next year after, you know, 2000. No, I'm sorry. That event was. No, I'm right. It was not. Yeah, it was the same year, 2012. No, this that I was talking about was March. But then in August, the same year, 2012, I went there again. Now they have this company. I love Portugal. You know, amo Portugal. They are gathering. They are calling. Not very publicly. You know, they only work on Facebook. They are not public. Almost not public. They rarely come on TV. So they were asking on Facebook to volunteers to help the surveillance, you know, for fires. All I have to know is it was hell again. Now, as I said back in this video, I am a friend of a very, very powerful medium, you know. So I get help. I get help, a spiritual help, you know. So at the month of August, not August, June, I sent them an email, you know, saying, hey, I want to participate. They didn't answer. The event of the surveillance of those hills began. It began, you know, and began at August, and no. It began in June, and 2 weeks before the surveillance started, all right. 2 weeks before the surveillance started in June, I sent them an email. I wrote, I filled the application, you know, on Facebook or internet, whatever, to begin to participate. But then I read in the newspaper that they were asking for volunteers. But after a few days, I read on the newspaper again that they had started that surveillance. And I thought they were asking, you know, for people. But they weren't answering to anyone. So what they did is, they gathered a gang, you know, they have a gang. And then the gang belongs to the universities, you know. They want, all they want is to diminish the tourism on that area, because they want to make experiences on the land, on the plants, at their will, you know. They are worse than wolves. They want the park for them. They do not want any tourism or tourists in there. So 1 week then, I noticed that it's all a facade, you know. Then I got in August, you know, they were having absolutely no volunteers, because they do not want volunteers. They want, I don't know what they want, but preservation is one of the things that I'm sure that they do not know, that they don't want. So in August, and at this time that I'm speaking now, it's August. And last year I was there. At this time last year I was there. You know, 1 week before I go there, before I started the participation, you know, I started to have these big headaches. This headache, this strong headache, it's a common pain. Many people have it. But I swear, many people may not believe it, because you can see my face, but I swear that in this month of August I still haven't had one headache. You know, the last year by this time I already went to the doctors to prescribe me remedies to my headache. Now, this headache was witchcraft. You know, they get your file, you know, and then they get your signature, they get your answer to the invitation, they print it, they store it, they send it to the government, you know, to say, hey, we have these volunteers, we have this amount of volunteers, we are credible because people answer to us, so we must have credit, we must have money, you know. But when I got there, it was hell. I'm gonna tell you, it was hell for a week. I went there a week. I had to come home. And I had people that were coming with me. They had to give up. Some guys of the gang, some members of that gang, they weren't bringing people they were bringing people into stupid situations where people were getting very, very angry, and they were coming home. You know, they were there. They were invited for, you know, how much time they'd want, but they were only staying for a few days because they weren't standing. They weren't having the will to stay. You know, we were being bullied. That gang, Amo Portugal, it's a bully company. It bullies people. If you are strong enough like me, I was strong, you know. But they were manipulating people through witchcraft. You may not believe it, but I know witchcraft. You know, I do know. I do know the symptoms in my mind. I know the symptoms in my body. You know, and I never again had such strong headache. We are in December. We are in August. You know, temperatures are very high, and each time higher. You know, Portugal is it's a country of sunlight, of heat, and ocean. You know, and I'm used to the sun. I am Portuguese. I'm not English. I am used to the sun. So headaches that can be caused by the heat and strong sunlight, it shouldn't happen. It should happen for many reasons, but not because of the sunlight. And I had to go to the doctor, and he told me, man, it is sunlight. You cannot. But then you know, when I 1 week before I started that collaboration with that company to watch out for fires in those hills, I got a very nasty headache, and I almost quit. You know, I went there with the medicine for the headache. When after 3 or 4 days, the headache went away. You know, the headache went away. But then I started to hear voices saying, "Go away, go away, go away." When I heard that voice, you know, my body wasn't recovering from the effort. You know, at 3 or 4 days, 2 or 3 days, it would be a sacrifice to walk. You know, I wasn't used to walk that much, and I knew the first 2 or 3 days it was going to be a sacrifice. It was going to be a sacrifice for my body, but then I was going to recover. I never recovered. At the end, it was the police that sent me home. Believe it or not, it was the police that came after me, telling you go away. They didn't tell me in my face, but they got me into trouble because I had to call them every day. Every time I was out for the surveillance, I had to call the police. So they knew who was there and how long they were there. They knew how long I was there. So they came to me at the end of 1 week. You know, I was resisting so much that their bullshit, their schemes, you know, their bullying. They weren't telling it to my face, but they were doing in my back, you know. So the police came and they said, go away, because if you don't go away, things will be worse. It happened. I have evidence here at my place, and government has evidence of that. Portuguese government has, because I complained, you know. I have hard evidence of that. And other people, they weren't. I'm a friend of a medium, you know. I resisted because I know I can detect problems. I know how to solve them. I know how to resist. But other people didn't know how to resist. So they were getting hungry, you know, and they were coming home because but there was no surveillance. When you were resisting for 3 or 4 days, one of the members of the administrative of that gang, you know, they were coming to you and they were starting to study you. They were asking you questions about this and about that, and they were trying to control you and shame you, you know. And then they would take you somewhere to make you spend all your money, you know, lots of times, you know. They will grab you and send you to some places where but they wouldn't let you take food or water, you know. You have to eat at some places where they wanted you to eat, very expensive places, you know. One of that place is a restaurant or a cafe, wherever, at the border, at the northern border between Spain and Portugal, in a place called Portela de Homem, you know, where there is in summer, you know, there is this restaurant where they charge you very hard. They are very expensive. So what they do is they take the volunteers, they put them there every day. They spend money. Then you have to go away because you do not have more money. You know, because why? Because this preservation, this company, Amo Portugal, you know, it's like this company. I love Portugal. They don't love Portugal. They hate Portugal. You know, it is a government facade. You know, universities are in touch, you know, with governments, with lobbies, you know. It's the government and those lobbies that support these preservation companies. They report to the government, you know, because it's government that gives them license to act. Well, I resisted, you know, and this year I was about to go there again. Perhaps I will, because I want to screw them. You know, I want to screw them. Because in fact, people that go to do surveillance, they don't do any surveillance at all. You can't, because with your eyes you can't surveil anything. They do not give you. I have binoculars, expensive, powerful binoculars, you know, and I took them. I didn't use them. I didn't use it. It was useless, because you can't control anything with your eyes. If they take you walking, you know, walking between the trees on those dirt ways, no, they do not put you in one place, you know, for a number of hours watching all around. No, they put you in the place where you don't see anything. They distract you. They make you walk. They make you work your legs, not your eyes. No, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. And in the end, if you resist, you know, they put the cops, the police, they screw you. That is what it happens. Amo Portugal. It's another bullshit company, like David Icke says. It is about to preserve. No, it's not. It's to destroy. You know, they all they want is to preserve. Yes, what they need, because this serra, these hills, you know, and I was yesterday in this meeting of bikes. The second, in Portugal we have this bike club, this concentration, this meeting, one of the biggest in the world, in Faro, in Algarve, you know, and then it is July, you know, in July. So at August we have another big meeting of bikes, the second, the greatest in this country, in Goiás, in another hill near, and I went there. And it isn't about preservation at all. It's about destroying. It's about to destroy. So I think what David Icke says about this preserving of the nature, I think I start to believe in what he says. It's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. This is all I have to say. Another thing, in the part of this video, I talk about the warm blood thing. Well, the answer, one part of the answer that I got is that our body, you know, our body does not need to be always on 37 degrees up. You know, our blood does. It's our blood that needs to be hot at 37 degrees. It's not the body, it's not the flesh, not the bones. It's the body. I'm sorry, it's the blood. The blood. They say, your body to survive, it must maintain this regular temperature of 37. It's not right. It's not true. Only the blood needs to be at that temperature. Because my temperature went sometimes 40 and sometimes 32, 30 degrees. You know, when we go to the snow, when you go play on the snow, you know, your body, the temperature goes down. When you go to the snow, when you go play in the snow to the hills, your temperature goes down. And when you go to the beach, you know, on summer, your temperature, it goes up on summer, and your body doesn't stop. Why? You know, my body, I do not slow down. Being colder or being hotter, I can always run. I can always speak. I can always move myself. You know, the same way that I always do. Why? Because doctors say that your body needs your body, not your body, your blood. The key thing, it's the blood. The blood is the important thing for the body investigation. The most precious things that your body has are the secrets of your blood, because your blood tells everything about your body. So the reptilians, they want to study our blood, not our body, our blood, you know, because they would want to study what? Your brain. Why? They are smarter. I don't know how much, but they are. You know why? Now, our blood, our warm blood, it's precious, you know. Thank you. At the end of this video, I have to add some more information that I forgot. In the beginning of the video, I said that I am a friend of a very powerful medium, and when I heard about David Icke books and his words about shape-shifting, that I went to speak with that medium's guide, that medium's spiritual guide, and he told me that when he was alive, many years ago, when he was living in this dimension when he was human, that he used to see many things. The things that he used to see were shining beings that used to deal with witchcraft. He didn't tell me, not yet, what it was all about. Because at that time nobody would know. Even today still nobody knows. But he told me that 50, 100 or 100 years ago, that in caves and mines, abandoned and empty, there were some shining beings, some which they used to perform witchcraft. I have never heard of such a thing, but I have all reasons to believe it. Now I may accept that people 50 or 100 years ago weren't the brightest or the smartest, and would make illusion and legend of everything that they would thought to see. But I don't know. It's on you. Believe it or not. That's all I have to say. Also, in the video, I was talking about a snake on the side of the highway, and I said that it was stopped catching blood. It wasn't catching blood, it was catching sunlight. My bad.